Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We're at 13620 Southwest Rosemary Lane here in Tigard. I describe everything as if you're standing in the street facing the front of the house. Right now we are straight out from the front doorway under a little cover plate. We have a 3-inch ABS cleanout. Cover plate looks like that over there. And we're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water's running. We're going to zero out here at the base of the cleanout. Off we go. And just right out of the gate, the flow line on this sewer is crazy clean. This is exactly how you want your flow line to look right there. And what keeps your line clean, just like this, is by and large, it's not putting fats, greases, and oils down your kitchen sink drain. And it's a habit I highly recommend building into your life. It is... I've done over 25,000 scopes at this point, lots of drain cleaning. We just swapped over to 4-inch 3034 PVC pipe, by the way, just a moment ago. Grease buildup is a very, very common contributing factor in blockages that result in full-on backups. It just turns your line into a sticky mess. You know, this is one of the few homes, because of the amount of fall, everything in a home like this falls 1 to 2 stories. So it's packing a lot of oomph behind it. But your average home out there, your toilet flush rarely will get solids from A to B in less than, I mean, honestly, 2 to 3 toilet flushes in a lot of cases, sometimes more. It's very common for debris to stop up partway down line. So you have a big thick layer of grease built up in your flow line. That stuff comes to a stop, it gets adhered to it, and that's where you get your potential for buildup. And it's especially problematic when improper things go down the line, like wipes, paper towels. Flushable wipes I include in the improper category as well. I do not recommend using them. And or big balls of toilet paper like kids like to flush down the toilet. That's where that stuff can become a problem. So anyway, I like to point it out when households are doing things right. This one's doing a pretty darn good job. And we've hit the main here. It looks like we tie right into the manhole. So we're going to go locate that really quick here while the pipe drains. Alright, so there's a manhole. It's actually almost perfectly, if you draw an imaginary straight line straight out to the road from the cleanout, you'll see 2 manholes directly in line with the cleanout, or nearly directly in line. The manhole that's farthest from the house, it's also the one that only has 2 vent holes in it, is the one that the sewer line connects into. Although the line does not actually run in that trajectory, all said and done, it ends up terminating at the main almost directly in line with the cleanout. The pipe kind of veers over into the driveway area and then cuts kind of back on itself to get into the roadway to that manhole there. I'm going to do another locate as we get back closer in here just to verify exactly where the line crosses the curb, but it's kind of the general route it takes. Doing some locating there. I'm kind of working around a vehicle a little bit, but my locate there is coming in. If you go to the edge of the driveway, right where the driveway meets the street, you'll see a double S stamped in the concrete. Some builders will do things differently and use S for sewer, double S for sanitary sewer, or storm sewer. And I've seen them used interchangeably because SS could also stand for sanitary sewer as well. But the double S marking there does not appear, that may be for the storm system. I'm not seeing a curb stamp that lines up where this line actually runs. The line ends up crossing into the road at the kind of the very front left corner of the driveway, probably 4 feet away from the double S marking. So, in case you're wondering what that was, I wouldn't necessarily be using that as a reference point for where the line's at, because it's either for storm system or someone stamped the concrete in the wrong spot. Anyhow, we're going to flip the camera around here for just a moment. Everything from the clean out access to the main lateral connection looks fantastic. This is about as close to perfect as a sewer scope can go here. Yeah, not only is the line structurally in great shape, 0 defects, settling, anything of the sort, it's also spotless clean to boot. It's rare you get all those things at once in one line. So this right here is where the line starts to go vertical upstairs. That's where we end up stopping there. You have the world's tiniest belly here. Dissipates off at about 7 feet. My camera right now is upside down. Water line's at the top of the screen at the moment. This thing is, I mean, hardly even worth talking about. It's so small. And the only reason I even notate things like this anymore on my reports, it honestly it's not to it's not to cover my butt. It's to explain stuff like this away in a coherent fashion. When you go to sell your home, you get some yahoo out here who bought a camera a week ago is just trying to save the world from things they don't understand. Yes, technically it's an imperfection, but a belly this size has absolutely no bearing on functionality at all. So it runs from around 6 or 5.5 feet to 7 feet, something like that. We'll call it 5 to 7 feet. You have about a 32nd of an inch of standing water there. So for reference, again, it's coming from someone who's done 25,000 sewer scopes. Where I just start to consider repairs, for instance, on bellies is once there's an inch of standing water. That's with no water running at all for a minimum of 5 feet. So even a belly at that size, I will rarely recommend a repair on it unless it is right up against the home or underneath it. Typically, though, it's also when you have the coupling effect of a belly in old rough pipe materials like cast iron. That combination of rough pipe materials and standing water is not a good combo. Plastic pipe, I rarely start seeing flow problems with bellies, realistically, until you start getting into the inches category. And even then, it still has almost everything to do with how the line's being treated before that belly can contribute to a blockage. By that, I mean abusing the line with wipes, paper towels, stuff that shouldn't be going down the pipe. Stuff that when it stops up doesn't disintegrate properly, things like that. So everything in this line's ripping through that without any problem whatsoever. Good flow end to end, all the pipes in good shape. Sewer line is functioning properly at this time. Very, very nice looking line there.